didn't know you could grow frogs. I thought God just made frogs. Well, he does, but... Okay, so here's the title page. Reagan, sit still. Growing frogs. She's got a bucket and everything. Let's see what they do. So once when I was little, this is a little girl talking, she said, once when I was little, my mom read me a story about a frog that grew bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. After the story, my mom asked me if I'd like to watch some real frogs growing. I know where there's a pond with lots of frogs and eggs in it, she said. We could bring some home. Well, I was frightened. I don't want any frogs jumping around getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger in my house, I said. But Mom gave me a hug. It's only a story, she said. Even when our frogs are grown up, they'll still be smaller than my hand. Oh, I said, that's okay. The next day we went to look at the pond. The water was dark brown and there was some gray jelly stuff floating on the top. Yuck, I said. There's the frog spawn, said Mom, and she pointed to the gray jelly stuff. I bet that was laid last Friday night. The frogs were croaking so loudly I couldn't go to sleep. So another word for frog eggs is spawn. Can you say spawn? Spawn. I'll let you get a closer look at the spawn. It's right on the top of the water in the pond. See it?
Can I look at it again?
See it, Fisher?
Can I see it again? Can I look at it again? I didn't sold it. I didn't sold it. I didn't see it.
You know what? I'm going to leave the book out at work time and you can take a closer look, okay?
It is that jellyfish.
Okay. So, you see the black dot in the middle of each jelly shell, said Mom? That's going to grow into a tadpole. Do you see all those little black dots?
Yeah, I already know it's gonna grow into a tadpole because I watched Alkid Nuts and it was already a tadpole.
Yeah. Oh, look at all those little tadpoles.
They were poison frogs.
Oh, you have to
They're
be careful.
already grown up.
I'm going to show you some pictures of some poisonous frogs in a little bit.
Oh yeah, you can't even eat them. They'll poison.
So this little girl asked her mom, where are the frogs?
Yeah.
Well, tadpoles grow into frogs, Mom said. Little frogs, though. No giant frogs here. So Mom put some pondweed and some stones into a bag. She filled the bucket with pond water. Then I scooped a little bit of the frog spawn and put it into the bucket. So they used the pond water for the eggs because the frogs and the tadpoles and the eggs, they're used to being in pond water. Are we used to pond water? No, we don't drink that water. But the frogs and the tadpoles, they live in it.
But I have something we can put in our mouth so we don't get water in our mouth.
When we got home, we put everything into a big fish tank in the kitchen. The cat kept peering at it, so we had to put a wire net over the top. What do you think the fish wants to do to those eggs? What do you think the kitty cat wants to do? Yeah. I counted 27 little black dots. Each dot was inside its own jelly shell. So if there's 27 black dots, how many tadpoles do you think we're going to get?
27.
27. Good, Eleanor.
27.
All right. So every day when I woke up, I went straight downstairs to look at the frog spawn. The little dots grew into bigger dots and then into tiny curls. And one morning I saw the first tadpole wriggling out of its jelly shell. That is exciting.
And I see
At first the tadpoles didn't do much. They just stayed close to their jelly shells and nibbled on the pondweed. But after 2 or 3 days they looked quite different. There were feathery things on their heads and I could see their eyes. Those slippery things help them breathe. It's like their gills. It helps them breathe underwater. Do we have gills on our neck? No. Can we breathe underwater? No. The tadpoles can. They swim very fast. 10 of the eggs didn't ever hatch. The black dots went dull and cloudy and Mom took them away, so not every egg is going to hatch. Then we cleaned out the tank and put in fresh pondweed and pond water. One of the tadpoles swam into my hand when I was putting a stone back, and it was slippery and slithery, and it made me jump. They have to keep changing the water to keep it fresh for the tadpoles. After a while, I got used to having tadpoles, and I didn't look at them so often. When Mom told me their little feathers had disappeared, I didn't believe her, but it was true. Look at that. I was the one who saw the next change, though. Look, I shouted, and my mom rushed to see. Some of the tadpoles had grown 2 little bumps. Mom said the bumps would grow into back legs. Let's see if we see a better picture. Oh, here it is. They grew very quickly. So one day there were 2 little bumps. The next day the 2 bumps were stumps. That means they got bigger. The day after that they almost looked like real legs. And when the feet unfolded, they were webbed like tiny brownish greenish fans.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah?
I know that.
The webs, the skin between their toes helps them swim better.
I know that.
They aren't tadpoles anymore, I said, but they're not quite
Watch
frogs.
Kid the Science Kid.
So they're not tadpoles, but they don't quite look like frogs yet, do they?
I watched They don't want their back legs.
Right, they don't. They are not quite frogs, but they started to grow their front legs next. And then their tails got shorter and their mouths got wider. Now they're froglets, said Mom. Baby frogs are froglets. He still has a little bit of a tail there, though.
Frogs don't have tails.
They don't. Soon the baby frogs were popping up and gulping at the surface of the water. One of them tried to climb onto a stone, but it slid right off. Mom said they were getting ready to leave the water. Grown-up frogs breathe air. Take a big, deep breath in. They breathe just like we do with lungs. That's what the stones are for, so our frogs can climb out of the water and breathe. Not long after that, Mom said it was time to take our baby frogs back to live in the pond with all the other baby frogs. I was sorry to leave them, but Mom said we could come back and visit every day. So is it a good idea to keep frogs in our house forever and ever? No, that's not their true home, is it? So they brought the frogs in and watched them grow, and once they got big, they took them back to the pond, to their real home. One rainy morning a week later, Mom woke me up very early. Hurry, she said, and we ran downstairs and out to the pond. There were hundreds of tiny frogs hopping over the grass. They're looking for dark, wet places to live, Mom said, but they won't go far. And in a couple of years, they'll be back to lay frog spawn of their own. Will they be bigger than I asked? Just a little, said Mom. Good, I said. I like having frogs jumping around, getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Can she grab one?
She could if she wanted to. So this is the thing, boys and girls. There is a park not too far from here that I used to go to and see lots of frogs like this.
Yeah.
If you've got a pond, listen, if you've got a pond...
Frog of seeds.
No, you can't grow frogs with seeds, but they grow from eggs. So if you have a pond near your house, this is the time of the year when the frogs... Listen, Anna, listen. This is the time of the year that frogs will start to lay their eggs in the pond. And if you come back at the right time, you're going to see lots of little frogs hopping around. Almost so many that you have to be careful that you don't step on them. It's pretty exciting.
What
Go to Commerce Park.
We
Marshbank too.
we
Lots
have
of
we
little
have a lake pretty close to our house.
You do? Maybe you can investigate. If you're at home and you live on a lake, maybe you can look around and see if you see any frog spots.
I would like.
Yeah, that's exciting.